a small, crazy, bokehlicious setup from Fujifilm. Let's talk about this in this podcast now. Hi there and welcome to my Tudor Talks series. In this video I want to talk about a very small setup from Fujifilm, a bokehlicious setup with great image quality and with great AF and great results. So if you are in content like this, please subscribe now for more videos and podcasts like this. So let's get to the subject. The stars from today are Fujifilm Xe4 with Viltrox 56mm f1.4 lens. So, as you can see, if I'm taking down the lens hood, this setup, it is very small. It is very small, very compact, easy to carry. Yes, on Xe4, to balance this lens good, you really need to add a thumb grip. And my advice is add a thumb grip. Don't add the hand grip or a laser case. I've tried to do that and for me it didn't work. Why? Because the hand grip or a laser case with a little grip will make Xe4 bigger and heavier, and you will lose the small factor of Fujifilm Xe4. And this is one of the main reasons that I've bought Xe4, because it is small and the image quality, it is great. It's having the firmware and the sensor from Fujifilm X-T4. So great image quality and great AF. So this is the main reason that I'm recommending using Viltrox 56mm f1.4 on Fujifilm Xe4, because the AF of this lens with this body are working very good. No, they are not as good as a Sony camera or I don't know, as the 35mm f2 lens from Fujifilm, but it's an okay combo. The AF, it is sufficiently good and sufficiently exactly and accurately to get the shots. And what is more important is the fact that this lens, Viltrox 56mm f1.4 on Xe4, I feel it is working better in AFC than when you mount this lens on Fujifilm X Pro 3. So this is very important, because you really need good AF, especially at a longer f1.4 lens. So this, from my point of view, it's a problem of firmware. I've done some tests on this Viltrox with X Pro 3, and I found out if I have the AF joystick set to change from wide tracking to point to tracking and so on, this Viltrox lens will not focus very well. It will hunt and it will not be very fast. But if I'm taking out the function from the joystick and I will set the AF from the menu, so I will set a fixed AF setting from the menu, so I will not be able to easily change from different types of AF. This Viltrox lens will focus faster on X Pro 3. So, okay, I've thought to myself it doesn't have sense to make a video about this, because I don't know how many users are having this problem. But anyway, after I've tested this Viltrox lens on Xe4, for my surprise, after I wanted to sell it because of the bad AF that I've got on X Pro 3, it's working very well on my Xe4. So it's a firmware problem here. And it's not the first time when I'm saying that X Pro 3 it's really needing to have an update, a firmware update. I really don't like the fact that the most important camera regarding a rangefinder looking camera, the flagship camera, or who knows what it's the flagship camera from Fujifilm now, X-H2, X-H2S and so on. But this was and it's a flagship camera, rangefinder looking camera. It's not having a decent firmware update. So a firmware like on X-T4, like on Xe4, like on XS10. and this firmware should be on Fujifilm X100V also, but let's say Fujifilm X100V, it's a one camera and one lens body. But the idea behind this talk is the fact that the firmware from Fujifilm X4 will enable you to have a very compact and fast, acceptably fast AF body and lens, equivalent 85mm f1.4 lens. So a great setup, a great setup. I also have Sony A7 RC and I've used the Sony 85mm f1.8. That lens, it's big, it's light, but it's big. It's twice the size of this lens. It's light, again, it's light, it's a light lens, but it's twice the size. So look at this compact, amazing for all kinds of portraits, for all kinds of abstract work, and for all kinds of bokehlicious shots. So I really love this setup for what it is. So what you can do with this setup? First, you can do portraits. Second, you can do portraits with nice buttery foreground, melted foreground and melted background. These are the types of portraits and the photography that I really like. A type of soul lighter photography, I may say. Also, this lens, it's having a special glass. So you have here a lens that it's rendering in a vintage way, but with AF. I love the way this lens is rendering the portraits. This leaded glass, it is beautiful. Yes, it's having one major problem. It is prone to chromatic aberration. It is prone to chromatic aberrations and purple fringing. But you can use an ND filter, or if you are like me and you are liking to shoot black and white, this is the go-to lens. This is a go-to lens because the micro contrast of this lens, it is amazing. And if you like black and white, I think you should know that vintage lenses are rendering black and white images in a very special and beautiful and, I don't know, magical way, amazing way. So this is why I like this lens. So I don't have to use a manual focusing lens like a Minolta Rockor 50mm f1.8 to get that blurry melted background and that bite and that micro contrast. And why I'm saying Minolta 50mm f1.8? Because I've had that lens, I've used that lens, and I was really loving it, how it rendered the bokeh, how bokehlicious it was on my Sony A7S camera. But it was a manual focusing lens, and with the adapter Minolta to Sony, it was a big lens, it was bigger than that, and the price, you are almost there. It depends, of course, but this is the main advantage if you are asking me why you should take this lens. Price, budget, build quality and rendering. Yes, this lens is not having that bite, that sharp bite that Fujifilm 56mm f1.2 it's having at f1.2. But for a hobbyist or for even a starting photographer, this is a no-brainer. You will be able to get that bite, that 56mm f1.2 bite in post-processing if you really want to get it. So this is why I'm really recommending this package. In conclusion, I will take this lens and with this X4 and I will use it for several days in street photography, and I will do a proper video how this lens is performing on X4 and what results I've got. But how I've said, this is just a podcast, so please subscribe now to see the full review, the full results, and why I have to say more about this package. Thank you for watching this and for listening to this, and talk to you soon. Bye bye.